As the empires expanded, the cultural impacts of colonialism began to take root. The colonizers, convinced of their cultural superiority, sought to impose their values and beliefs on the colonized. Education became a tool of assimilation, with schools teaching European history, languages, and customs. Indigenous languages were often suppressed, and traditional forms of knowledge were dismissed as primitive. The imposition of European legal systems further eroded local customs and traditions. Traditional forms of governance were replaced with European-style administrations, often with little regard for the needs and desires of the local population. The introduction of new religions, particularly Christianity, led to the conversion of many indigenous people. Missionaries established schools and hospitals, providing essential services but also spreading their religious doctrines. The construction of grand cathedrals and churches served as symbols of European power and cultural dominance. But the cultural exchange was not a one-way street. The colonized also influenced the colonizers, albeit in subtle and often unacknowledged ways. European art, literature, and music were influenced by the cultures of the colonized. New foods and spices from the colonies found their way into European cuisine, transforming the culinary landscape of the continent. Ideas and philosophies from the East, such as Buddhism and Hinduism, began to gain traction in Europe. The cultural impact of colonialism was complex and multifaceted, leaving a lasting legacy on both the colonizers and the colonized. The blending of cultures created new forms of art, music, and literature. Hybrid identities emerged as people navigated the complexities of living in a world shaped by colonialism. But the cultural exchange was often unequal, with European culture dominating and suppressing indigenous cultures. The imposition of European values and beliefs led to the erosion of traditional ways of life. The loss of cultural heritage was a profound tragedy for many colonized people. Resistance to cultural imperialism took many forms. Some sought to preserve their traditional customs and languages. Others embraced European education and used it to challenge colonial rule. Nationalist movements emerged, advocating for self-determination and cultural revival. These movements sought to reclaim their cultural heritage and assert their national identity. The struggle for cultural liberation was an integral part of the broader struggle against colonialism. The cultural impacts of imperialism continue to resonate today. The legacy of colonialism can be seen in the languages, religions, and customs of many countries around the world. The scars of cultural imperialism are still visible in the social and political landscapes of former colonies. The ongoing struggle to decolonize minds and reclaim cultural identities is a testament to the enduring power of culture. The world bears the marks of this cultural collision. The echoes of suppressed voices still reverberate. The fight for cultural preservation continues. And in the museums, artifacts stand as silent witnesses. Each mask, each tool, each garment tells a story of resilience. The world was forever changed, and the cultural landscape redrawn. The seeds of cultural exchange, both forced and organic, took root. And the whispers of ancient traditions mingle with the sounds of the modern world. The fight for cultural identity rages on, a battle for the soul of nations. The stage is set for a new chapter, one where cultures coexist and celebrate their differences. But for now, the shadows of the past linger, a reminder of the cultural costs of empire. The world remembers, and the future awaits. The colonizers came with their own culture. They imposed their values and beliefs. They built schools and churches. They taught their languages and customs. But the colonized did not surrender. They preserved their traditions. They resisted cultural assimilation. They fought for their cultural identity. They created new forms of art and music. They blended cultures and created hybrid identities. The cultural impact of imperialism was complex. It left a lasting legacy on both the colonizers and the colonized. The world is still grappling with the consequences. The struggle for cultural liberation continues, and the future of culture remains uncertain. The world watches, and the story unfolds. The arbitrary drawing of colonial boundaries led to future conflicts. The legacy of imperialism continues to reverberate through the world today. Economically, many former colonies still struggle with the consequences of resource depletion. They are also affected by dependence on global markets dictated by their former rulers. Politically, the artificial borders imposed during the colonial era have fueled ethnic tensions. These artificial borders have also caused internal conflicts within these nations. Culturally, the imposition of European languages, education systems, and values has led to erosion. This imposition has also led to the suppression of local traditions. The struggle to reclaim cultural identity and achieve true economic independence remains. This struggle is a central challenge for many post-colonial nations. The echoes of empire serve as a stark reminder of the enduring impact. This impact is felt by colonialism on the global landscape. Economically, Former colonies face resource depletion and market dependence. Politically, artificial borders cause ethnic tensions and conflicts. Culturally, European influence erodes indigenous traditions. The struggle for cultural identity and economic independence persists. Colonialism's enduring impact is a stark reminder. The economic repercussions include resource depletion and reliance on global markets. These markets are often controlled by former colonial powers. The political ramifications involve ethnic tensions and internal strife. These issues stem from arbitrarily drawn colonial boundaries. Culturally, the dominance of European languages and education systems. This dominance marginalizes and suppresses local customs and traditions. Post-colonial nations grapple with reclaiming their cultural heritage. They also strive for genuine economic and political autonomy. The legacy of empire is a constant reminder of colonialism's lasting effects. The economic challenges include depleted resources and market dependency. The political challenges include ethnic conflicts and unstable borders. The cultural challenges include the loss of traditions and languages. Former colonies strive to regain their identity and independence. The echoes of empire highlight the deep scars of colonialism. Economically, resource depletion and market dependence are major issues. Politically, ethnic tensions and internal conflicts persist. Culturally, the erosion of indigenous traditions is a concern. Post-colonial nations seek to reclaim their heritage and autonomy. The echoes of empire serve as a constant reminder. The economic legacy includes resource depletion and market control. The political legacy includes ethnic tensions and border disputes. The cultural legacy includes the loss of languages and customs. Former colonies are working to rebuild their identities. They are also working to achieve true independence. The echoes of empire are a lasting reminder of colonialism. The economic impact is seen in resource depletion and dependence. The political impact is seen in ethnic tensions and conflicts. The cultural impact is seen in the erosion of traditions. Post-colonial nations are striving for cultural and economic freedom. The echoes of empire serve as a warning from the past. Economically, they face resource depletion and global market issues. Politically, they struggle with ethnic tensions and border problems. Culturally, they work to preserve their traditions and languages. Former colonies seek to overcome the legacy of imperialism. The echoes of empire continue to shape the world today. The economic effects are resource depletion and market dependence. The political effects are ethnic tensions and internal strife. The cultural effects are the loss of traditions and languages. Post-colonial nations are determined to reclaim their future. The echoes of empire remind us of the need for justice. The echoes of empire remind us of the need for equality. The echoes of empire remind us of the need for understanding. The echoes of empire remind us of the need for reconciliation.